guys yesterday. I had some Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. I missed you guys yesterday. I had some work I had to attend to and was not able to be here yesterday morning. I had prepared a show over the weekend, and we're going to start getting that today. How about that? So what we're going to do this morning, we're going to look at the free agency market that starts to come into play with the coronavirus. You know, we've talked about ad nauseum the scheduling and the divisions, and that's all great conversation. It really is, because after last night, I don't know if any of you guys were up at 1 a.m. Lenny, you may have been, but South Korea started their league. I will confess, I tuned in for a few minutes. I woke up just to see a little baseball, and not a bad game. I mean, I just don't know any of the players, and that's where I lack the connection. But they started their season, no fans in the stands, playing the game, and they're going to have a fairly full slate on ESPN if any of you guys are interested. Maybe you watched it. What did you think about it? But we've talked about all of those things. But now there is a substantial free agency class coming out at the end of 2020, and Major League Baseball has said, coronavirus, play or not play, we're going to still treat contracts as they are. Of course, now we're talking about starting the year in late June, early July, and boy, I am stoked about that. But I want to take a look this morning at some of the free agents, and particularly I want to start today with pitching. And what does a short season mean to some of these free agent to be pitchers? And we've got starting pitchers, we've got relievers. We're going to take a look at all of that. Let's start with the starting pitchers, the pitchers who will be free agents at the end of the 2020 season. And I got to start with Trevor Bauer. Maybe it's because that's Andrea's favorite player, but Trevor Bauer, 30 years old, and now he is obviously a front of the rotation performer, or at least he was in 2018. Now, last year, he only managed a 4.48 ERA in 213 innings. He allowed home runs at about 3 times the rate that he did in 2018. So I don't think Bauer's value is where it was last year. I'm not sure that it's going to be where it was in 2018, but surely Trevor Bauer, for his free agency value, would have benefited from a full season showing that he's more like the 2018 version than what you got in 2019. Now, unlike a lot of pitchers, Trevor Bauer has come out and said that he will be interested in 1-year agreements. Now, that does make him a lot more marketable, considering we're not playing a full year. So where does Bauer go? What kind of money? Hey, I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm only here to talk about, will Bauer, could he be affected by the shortened or no season? And it's a definite. If you look at what he did last year, it's so much off from where he was in 2018. Another pitcher who benefited from playing last year, number-wise, is Mike Minor. Now, left-handed Mike Minor last year pitched over 200 innings. He had a 3.59 ERA pitching in Texas. Now, they've redone the stadium, made it more pitcher-friendly. I'd say last year it was much more hitter-friendly. But even in light of the hitter-friendly park, he still pitched over 200 innings and had a 3.59 ERA. So, Minor, free agent, 33-year-old, we'll see how he comes off. Jake Odorizzi, looks like he has really landed in a good spot in Minnesota. He's now in his 31-year-old season. He took the qualifying offer after a 2019 really good year, but that could work to his benefit. You know, he won't be dragged down by draft compensation and could be the top available arm on the market. Last year, Jake Odorizzi had a 3.51 ERA, but he was only able to pitch 159 innings over 30 starts. So, not overly used last year. He won't be overly used this year because, frankly, the season's not going to be as long. So, Odorizzi, to me, looks like in a really good spot for the upcoming off-season free agent market. Now, another pitcher I want to talk about, you guys, what do you think about the Cubs starting pitching? I mean, you know, in 2016, when they win the World Series, I really thought we had the makings of a repeat. And they've just not done it. And in that year, they go and trade with the White Sox. And I think it's, wow. I mean, I know they won the World Series, got it. But they give up Eloy Jimenez. They give up Dylan Cease. And they get Jose Quintana back in return. And frankly, at least in 2019, the results just weren't there for Quintana. His ERA ballooned to 4.68. So he just doesn't, you know, throw the ball by you. He is what we call a crafty lefty. And so he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Look, a lot of free agents this coming year. That's why I'm going over this list. Robbie Ray is yet another. And Robbie Ray at 29, has he just not been one of the most frustrating pitchers? I mean, you see with Robbie Ray, tremendous upside. You see a plus fastball. Now, he can strike out a ton. With Robbie Ray and the walk situation, you know, this year to me is really it's a big year for all of them. But especially for someone like Ray. He's been durable, okay? He's never really had a injury season where he has, you know, not played. He's only 29. And so in a market where you really don't have a true ace, if Robbie Ray could come out in 2019 and pitch up to the potential and up to the upside expectation that we have for him, not only could he be the jewel in the free agent market, but he would also be a fantasy stud in 2019. Some other starting pitchers, just going to go through these somewhat briefly. You've got Marcus Stroman, 30 years old. Masahiro Tanaka, 32. And the thing about Tanaka, his strikeout rate last year dropped to 10.7% after he had an increase in strikeout percentage in 2017 and in 2018. So it's tough to imagine Tanaka putting up, I would say, the outstanding or quality numbers that he put up earlier in his Yankee career. He's 32, you know, he's had that. He was a candidate for Tommy John a few years ago because when he came into the league, he was a 95-plus fastball thrower, had this injury, and he's never quite been that. He's figured it out. He's figured out how to pitch. But in a free agent market, I'm not sure how, marketable or how attractive Tanaka will be. Now, there's other pitchers with a lot of upside. You've got James Paxton, Big Maple, a free agent after this year, coming off the surgery earlier in the year. He wasn't planning to start the year with the Yankees, but now with the delay, it doesn't look like he'll miss any time. And I think every scout in the stadium is going to be looking at, well, how does he look? How's he pitching? How's he going to react to the surgery? It's a big opportunity for James Paxton. And imagine if we didn't have a season, how that might impact Paxton coming off a fairly significant back surgery. that he seems to have reports are he's recovered from. We haven't seen him pitch, but now it looks like he'll be able to come back if we start the season in early July and have a full year to show what he really has left in that tank after the surgery. Another pitcher who really hasn't pitched at all much lately, but at one time was the ace of the California or Los Angeles Angels, Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards is only 33 years old. And it's been a long time since Garrett Richards has pitched a complete season. San Diego goes out in the offseason. They take a flyer on Garrett Richards. He's got the opportunity in a great pitcher's park to come back. 2020 is huge now in his free agent year. We'll see what Garrett Richards can do. Another pitcher in a big spot. He's been given a reprieve from Baltimore. Kevin Gausman, 30 years old. He went to Atlanta, got out of Baltimore, went to Atlanta, mixed results. Now he's pitching this year in Anaheim. And you talk about a great place to be in pitching-wise. Now, he did not have a good 2019, but he did jump up to a 14.8% swinging strike rate and 10 K per 9 rate. Both were career high levels. But look, the downside, a 5.72 ERA. And ERA estimates are, to me, more accurate of how good a pitcher is. So, Kevin Gausman at age 30, this is your opportunity. And hopefully the season starts and a pitcher like Gausman, if he could excel in Anaheim this year, it would add a lot to his free agency value. Three pitchers I'm going to kind of group together who are coming off injuries, and we want to see how they come back this year. It's a huge year. Michael Wacha, age 29. Taijuan Walker, age 28. Alex Wood, age 30. And the one there to me that's most intriguing is Taijuan Walker. I mean, you look at this guy, he looks a lot like Dylan Betances. In fact, he throws almost as hard as Dylan Betances. And he's just never reached the promise when he came up with the Diamondbacks that we thought he would. He had Tommy John, did not pitch last year. Now he's had plenty of time to rest, to recover, get back on the mound, and we'll see what he's got. Real quick, just going down some names of other free agents who I think are, I'm not saying they can't have impact, but I think less significant on the free agency market. Brett Anderson, Chase Anderson, the Anderson brothers. They used to be a wrestling group, Ollie and I can't remember the names. Anyway, Chris Archer, Jake Arrieta, Homer Bailey. A lot of free agency pitchers. Tyler Chatwood, Anthony Descalfina, Mike Fiers, Gio Gonzalez, Cole Hamels, Jay. But especially, and how many of these pitchers are really going to be relevant? Here's another one. How about Lester and Charlie Morton, Jimmy Nelson? These guys are getting some age on them, and I think it's important to note that now they won't have to pitch a full year. Oh, there are other starting pitchers. Rick Porcello, Tyson Ross, Jeff Samardzija, Anibal Sanchez, Drew Smiley. The list is as long as your arm, okay? So many starting pitchers, and we can say this. So many of these guys need to show this year they still have something left in the tank as they enter into their 2020 free agent year. I think it's important to look at Charlie Morton for a moment, though. Charlie Morton, a few years ago, he seemed to just, find it, right? He just found it with Houston all of a sudden, become some kind of ace that we never really saw coming until it was here. And now he's with Tampa, and he's continued that success. And he's in a great situation in Tampa. He really is. But he's 37 years old. Okay, so how much do you put on the age versus how much do you put on what he's still showing on the mound? Now, he's a free agent. Now, Verlander is not.